I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm backtracking, but I'm just wondering, did you go over like the benefits of one brood chamber too? I thought
I don't really go over. It's not really a benefit. It's more a way of doing things. There's a few. The biggest benefit of 1 and 2 brood chamber is with 1 brood chamber, I have 1 brood chamber. 50% of the cost, 50% of the labor. If I know where, if I want to find the queen and I have 1 brood chamber and a queen excluder, I know where the queen is. She's on one of those 10 frames. And she's probably on one of these 3. So I only have to look at one of those 3 frames and I'll probably find my queen. That's the benefit of 1 brood chamber.
but I'm just wondering, how will they survive winter with only a few frames of honey?
The research shows that they can survive winter in 1 brood chamber in Ontario, in most of Ontario. There are beekeepers in Manitoba that use 1 brood chamber. Not a lot, but there are some that use 1 brood chamber.
You use 1 brood chamber?
I do a bunch of different stuff because my business model is completely different. It depends on what you want to do. It's all, why you use 1 brood chamber is because if you want to make honey and you want to minimize your cost of everything, if you have 1 brood chamber, you only have to use 2 apivar strips. You only have to have 1 box. You don't need to have 2. You only needed 10 frames. You don't need 20. If you want to find the queen, she's in 1 box, not 2 boxes. The labor involved in looking after 1 brood chamber is less. If you have a really hard winter, like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, whenever that really hard winter was, your 1 brood chamber has less food stores in it. So they might not be able to make it through quite as well as the 2 brood chambers, possibly. If you have a really wet spring, and the bees can't go and forage, 2 brood chambers have more food in them. The bees can live in those 2 brood chambers longer without having to feed them and stuff like that. If you have 2 brood chambers, in the spring, you have twice as much space for the bees to build up in before you have to go out and put boxes on. So swarming in the spring is less of a worry. With 1 brood chamber, if it warms up in March, you could have bees swarming the beginning of April because they have no room, because they started to build up already. If I have 2 brood chambers, I don't have to think about the bees swarming until May, because they have that second box to build into before they feel tight. If I'm making honey, 1 brood chamber is great because it's easy to pick up and move around, the resources are cheap, I know where the queen is. If I'm breeding bees and my job is selling bees, 2 brood chambers is what I want to do because I want to have as big a brood nest as I possibly can. So it really depends on what your goal is in being a beekeeper. If you have a few bees in your backyard and your goal is just to have fun being a beekeeper, do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. It's a box. It'll cost you $50, right? The treatment will cost you twice as much, but that's an extra $6.
Just a follow-up question.